Are y'all tired of all the videos telling you that you're going to make $1 million on Pokemon? Yeah, me too. There are way too many videos out there on how to make money in the industry. So I decided to make a video of the opposite. Here's how you can lose all your money on Pokemon. This is Mile High Pokemon. As you can see, I used some fun images, mainly that I made from ChatGPT. I think you'll enjoy them. The spelling is not adequate on some of these photos, but I feel like they're representative. For example, this guy here is allergic to money. That might be some of you all. Dan loves that term, so I'm using that here. So before I start, this is not tax advice. It's also not legal advice. So don't sue me. But if you really are trying to lose your money the fastest way possible, if you're really that allergic, you can just Venmo me. I'll take it all. Because why be in the top 10% of winners when you can be in the top 1% of losers? That's really what we're going for here. So I got 10 tips here. First is you want to open up as many packs as possible. The more expensive, the better. What we know, for example, is with the modern booster boxes, it might cost $100 for a box. And you open it all up, shred it, and sell it off, it'll be about $60 in estimated value, 60 to $70. Whereas if you buy Evolving Skies, you got $470 for a box. That estimated value is about $100 in the cards you open. And even better, you open some of that WotC stuff, it's like $400 for a pack. You might pull a $30 card, you might pull a $60 card. Then man, think about the L's you'll take. So just shred it all up. Your bedroom should look like this guy here. Number 2, if you're selling a lot of stuff that you bought for resale, do not get a sales tax certificate. Because if you do, you will save on taxes when you buy it. And as we all know, one of the best things you should be doing as part of your business is paying taxes as you're supposed to. But you know what's even better? Paying your taxes twice. Twice what you're supposed to pay. How great is that? Uncle Sam will love you. He'll be like this here, jumping in this photo. It's essentially less bureaucracy. It saves you time because you don't fill out a one-page piece of paper to send your estate. You skip that. You just pay your double to your taxes, and then you're good to go. Number 3, you buy high and sell low. Now, I actually really love this little image it made me, the AI did, because it keeps having people yelling the best time to sell is like as it goes higher and higher, which I love it. Because essentially, if all of your friends have bought something and they're telling you that it's increased a lot in value, then the best time is to buy it then, because you know that you'll be last one to the party, right? That's when you really hit the top of the peak. You want to be at the bottom of every Ponzi scheme, right? You want to make sure there's nobody else coming after you. So that way, when the market crashes, you can offload your product and really maximize your losses. Number 4, you take losses on purpose because profit. As we all know, lots of people build apartment buildings and keep them empty because they somehow make money. Because when you don't sell or rent out your apartments, you magically make money. Actually, the government just feels bad for you and Venmos you anyway. I believe that's how that works. So here, you want to maximize your losses. Like Trump lost billions of dollars or whatever, and guess what? President. So, you know, if you want to be in the same boat, you maximize your losses, and then, you know, the government actually gives you money for free, I think. Another thing is you want to buy PSA 10s and not grade them, especially when the prices are the largest. So, for example, this guy here failed because he got this Jungle Pikachu for $1,000.50, but about a week later, one sold for $1,500. So he clearly lost because the goal was to get in at the peak. Because then everyone's going to be asking, who the fuck was crazy enough to buy a PSA 10 Jungle Pikachu for $1,000? And you'll say, it wasn't $1,000, it was $1,500. So that's what you're really going for here, is you want to be the one that everyone knows because you paid more than everyone else. You know what they say? If you pay more than everyone else, you must be richer than them. Or maybe far more broke. Who cares, as long as you're number 1. So next one is you want to take on credit card debt to buy cards. You see, you don't want to be one of these chums that, you know, has 0% interest on anything. You want it to compound. Because if you go ahead and take out, here's some calculations here, take out 20 grand, in 3 years, you'll owe back $8,500. It's pretty much going to nullify any potential gains. Because you don't want to buy cards, do everything wrong, and accidentally have it increase in price anyway. The great thing about credit card debt is that it will almost certainly negate almost anything you could make. So that's what you want to be doing. And certainly, as we've talked about before, and I don't remember if I have a slide for it, you also do not want to be putting your stuff into any of the safe shit, right? You want to avoid the S&P. You want to avoid the regular stock indexes that almost always go up. Because if you look at the S&P pretty much over every 10-year period, you get a profit or a gain. And we're really trying to avoid that here. So you want to be making sure that the stable investments are ones that you avoid. Skip that employer match because that's just going to add to your debt. So the credit card debt is really the way to the bottom. Remember, we're going for number one. Other thing, you want to put all your eggs in one basket, because if you go ahead and diversify, it's unfortunate because unexpectedly some of the stuff you buy might go up in value. Now, the great thing about the put your eggs all in one basket approach is that if something fails, and we've already talked about all the ways that you should be buying products to set yourself up for failure, well, really success, but you'll be the number one failure, which is the success, right? You put it all in one basket, so that way when you lose money, you lose it across the board. There's nothing to salvage it, right? There's nothing that you accidentally bought that went up in price. So really, you want to be putting it all in one place, YOLOing it. I do believe that is the correct use of the term. You also want to overstretch. So you don't want to have any money in savings because you never know when an emergency could happen. And if an emergency happens and you have money in savings, essentially you will pull out of your savings and you won't have to sell your collection at a loss. But one of the great things about overstretching is that if an emergency comes up and you have nothing laying around, then you have to sell your product to essentially whoever can buy it the quickest, which means you'll get a really bad amount of money for it. You'll get like the lowest value. For example, your neighbor, you'll be like, dude, you want to buy all my Pokemon cards? I got in a car accident. And your neighbor's going to be like, I don't even collect Pokemon cards. And you're like, great. Will you pay $100 for them? And then your neighbor will be like, I don't know, maybe 15. And then you'll be like, great. Excellent losses there. You also, so I did talk about this one previously. I forgot if I had a slide. You want to be skipping, as I said, those stable investments. You don't want to accidentally make money. These are almost always guaranteed over the long term to make money. So you don't want that. That's not part of your goals here. So here we're talking about the sunk cost fallacy. The problem is if your stuff has already lost 70% in value, the people who really know what they're doing, if they don't think there's a future for the product, will go ahead and sell it off and use the money to put into something else that might actually go ahead and get growth. And you want to avoid doing that because if you've already lost a lot of money, you don't want to accidentally pull out whatever's left and profit from that. You want to make sure that you're really losing the maximum amount. And obviously if you never pull out your money, then you can never make it, right? So it's a really great way to zero out your bank account. And then the bonus tip is you never want to research, you only YOLO. Your friends might care about paying their mortgage or avoiding foreclosure. But look at him. Look at this nerd in this classroom. You want to be him? Everyone's laughing at him. You could be having fun. You could go ahead and buy that PSA 10 Jungle Pikachu. You could do whatever the fuck you want, but at least you're not going to be laughed at there. Okay? Because you don't want to be a nerd. Now, of course, you may accidentally go bankrupt. Well, of course, that's the intent, but if you actually end up making value off anything that you buy and then you go bankrupt, unfortunately, the creditor might come and pick up your stuff. So what you really got to go for is you really want to make sure that everything you buy really falls to zero before you go into bankruptcy. All right, well, that's all of it. Thanks everyone for watching the video. I'd love to see your questions and comments and other tips. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like these. I'd love to hear more tips if you have them on the number one way to lose money in Pokemon. Anyway, moral of the story, there are many people allergic to money. Don't be one of them.